You know, up till a few minutes ago, as of the time I'm recording this video, I was having a pretty decent day. Then I read this article from Deadline. Disney-Sony standoff ends Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige's involvement in Spider-Man. I know that sounds bad, but trust me, it gets so much worse when you get past the title.
It's worse. It's so much worse.
As stated in the article, Sony and Marvel have basically ended their Spider-Man partnership over what else but money. According to Deadline, Disney apparently asked for a 50-50 co-financing agreement for future Spider-Man and Spider-Man related movies, like Sony's upcoming Venom sequel and the Morbius solo movie, while Sony supposedly came back with counteroffers, like wanting to keep their original arrangement where Disney would only get 5% of the first dollar gross, meaning Marvel only gets 5% of the box office revenue on the first day of release for any Spidey movie they work on. But all of Sony's counteroffers were declined by Marvel, according to updates in the Deadline article. So simply put, this means that Marvel will not be making any more Spider-Man movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and even though Tom Holland and director Jon Watts are contracted for 2 more Spidey movies, Sony's future Spider-Man movies can't mention anything MCU related, like the events of Infinity War, Iron Man, or anything like that. Now, here's the thing. On the one hand, I can definitely understand Marvel not wanting to spend as much money making movies for another studio, and wanting a bigger piece of the pie, considering how the original deal basically boiled down to them financing solo Spidey movies on their own, on top of the fact that the last Spider-Man movie made a ton of money at the box office. So it makes sense that they'd want to work out a deal where they get to walk away with more money in their pockets at the end of the day. On the other hand though, the way this article's written makes it sound like Marvel would have still held on to the Spidey merchandising rights on top of making extra money at the box office. And that makes me feel like Disney's asking for way too much. I mean, come on, Spider-Man made over $1 billion for Disney in merchandise sales in 2014 alone, for fuck's sakes. So yeah, Disney asking for a 50-50 split while also having access to the literal billion-dollar merchandising rights would obviously not have been a good deal for Sony, but I'm also not sure if it was such a good idea for them to walk away from the pull the MCU has on the general movie-going audience. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. Now, even though I'm positive we will be seeing some kind of deal be reached later on down the road, again more on this later, what could Sony pulling Spider-Man mean for both the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Sony's Marvel Universe? Well, as far as the MCU goes, if a deal isn't finalized, and this is a huge if since Disney has some deep pockets and could absolutely get Spider-Man back if they really wanted to, I'm pretty sure nothing's gonna really happen. I mean, yeah, Marvel's been building up the Spider-Man character as essentially a replacement Iron Man since he was first introduced, like he would have been a bigger part of the Avengers and started sharing the screen with some of the other big MCU characters moving forward, but at the same time though, Marvel isn't exactly short on big name characters they can either work into this role or do something completely different with and still make a ton of money on. On top of the options they already had to fill the Iron Man role, like Rhodey, what's his name from Iron Man 3, and even the currently rumored MCU take on Riri Williams, Marvel got a ton of new characters from that Fox deal, like the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, both teams potentially being huge box office draws with the right talent involved. Plus, we can't forget that Marvel films in general have shown a consistent pull and level of quality to the point where, collectively, they've grossed over $20 billion up to this point.
That's a lot of cheddar.
Seriously, even if Sony gave Marvel the old fuck you every single day from here on out, I honestly don't see this hurting them that much. Sony, on the other hand, stands to lose a lot from this arrangement. I mean, yeah, they might see an initial boost in profits by working Spider-Man into some of their other movies, but at the same time, this is the same company that bulldozed Spidey 3 times in a row and were practically begging Marvel to come back and fix it for them. After Amy Pascal chucked a sandwich at Kevin Feige for offering the same thing earlier, because of course she would. Even with Spider-Man being added to their cinematic universe, there's zero guarantees that any of their Marvel movies moving forward are going to be any good, or even make anywhere close to the amount that the first Venom movie made. Of course, as I've shown with all the bitching I did in my Venom movie history video, I know literally nothing about what other people like, and I could be totally wrong about what'll happen with Sony's movies. They could end up making bank and find out they didn't need Kevin Feige or the MCU to get butts and seats at the theater. But then again though, history has shown that they really don't have any clue how to handle a Spider-Man franchise, so I guess the only real thing we can do is just wait and see what happens. All that having been said though, we do have a few new pieces of the story that make it look like Sony's already backing down and trying to play nice with the mouse again. According to an unnamed source over at Variety, it's already been mentioned that a deal might still be reached between Disney and Sony at some point, which honestly isn't exactly news since these types of things are usually negotiated a lot. And over on IO9, it's been reported that a Sony rep responded to their request for comments, claiming that it's their belief this dispute is simply over a producer credit and negotiations are ongoing. They further clarified that Feige has contributed to other Spider-centric movies that he did not receive a producer credit on. Now, while that part is true, I mean, Kevin Feige did end up helping out with Venom a little bit, I don't know about all this. I mean, maybe it's just me, but this is starting to sound like a lot of PR spinning from Sony to keep fans quiet till they can work out something with Marvel. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if this information getting to Deadline in the first place was just somebody, probably from Disney, leaking it to try to get Marvel fans all riled up so Sony's more inclined to work out a deal, if only to get away from the public backlash this wound up getting them. Either way though, I'm really hoping Sony and Marvel can work out some kind of a deal pretty soon. Yeah, Marvel may not need the web slinger in their universe, but at the same time though, having him under the same roof as the rest of the Marvel universe just feels right. I don't know, maybe it's just me. But anyways guys, that's my take on what in the hell's going on with Spider-Man right now and whether or not we'll be seeing him in the MCU ever again. If you guys agreed with anything I said in this video, or if you have your own thoughts you want to throw out there, then go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, I will see you all next time. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, then go ahead and click that like button, and if you're new, maybe consider clicking that subscribe button too. I've also got links to my Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and Patreon in the description. You should probably check those out too. And if you want to see more of my content, then you can click the link to my last video. It's right there in the middle of your screen. Alright, and I will see you all next time.